Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're listening. Welcome to another episode of the Jimmy M podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Mullen, and we're doing another solo episode today. I'd also like to say this is the first one of 2022. Happy New Year. The last episode I put out was on New Year's Eve. I tried to get it out on the 30th, but ended up being the 31st. But my goal at the end of the day was to get it out before the year ended, at least in my time zone. Got it out in like mid-afternoon. So that was good. If you haven't checked that one out yet, I talked about all the cool stuff I loved in regards to music, movies, video games, all the sorts. Tons of Marvel discussion towards the second half as well. So if you'd like to check that out, you can check it out on, the podcast page on all platforms. It's episode number 3, cool stuff of 2021. I'd also like to thank everyone for the continued success of the podcast. And I'd also like to make an announcement. I now have a link through Anchor, which will allow viewers to send in a monthly donation, I guess you could call it. It ranges from, you could do 99 cents a month, you could do $4.99 a month, and $9.99 a month. And this isn't a subscription or anything. This isn't like, you're not going to get much out of it. It's just a support link. So if you'd like to financially support the podcast, you'd like to financially support me, I would really appreciate that. Of course, this is not required. I'm not asking for money or anything. This is just a simple thing. If out of the kindness of your heart, if you would like to do that, it is now an option. So I'd just like to say thank you to anyone that decides to do that. I really appreciate you. With that said, we're a couple weeks into the new year now. I wanted to get more episodes out by now, but I ended up getting sick, and it just wasn't the greatest time. I've been under a lot of stress with work and things like that, so I just haven't been able to really focus on this, which is something I love doing. But pretty soon, I'm going to be having a lot more time to do that. I will not talk about that just yet, but good things are coming. I promise. So today's episode is mainly just going to focus on stuff that's been happening in the last couple weeks. I wanted to touch on the Weeknd's new album, Dawn FM, the new Moon Knight trailer that just dropped from Marvel and Disney+. Also, just today as I'm recording this, Microsoft has purchased Activision Blizzard for nearly $70 billion. So that's something to talk about. And I wanted to touch on some notable people we've lost in these past couple weeks, specifically Betty White, Sidney Poitier, and Bob Saget. This isn't going to be, like a boo-hoo crying fest, because I know nobody wants to listen to that. So, I just wanted to talk about that kind of stuff today. So without further ado, let's get into the first thing I want to discuss, which is the Weeknd's new album, Dawn FM. So really, already, it was like a week into the new year, and we've already got albums from Gunna and The Weeknd. I did not listen to Gunna's new album. I'm not really the biggest Gunna listener. Nothing against the guy. I just haven't really delved into his music. A lot of the stuff I have heard is features. So, can't really say much about that, other than I like him on the features I hear him on. The Weeknd, however, I have listened to a good portion of his music. I have yet to listen to his original trilogy EPs. I have not heard many songs from those. I've heard songs like Wicked Games and What You Need, but like everyone knows those ones. Starboy was an album that came to me in a dark time in my life, and it just, gave me a reason to keep going, I guess. As weird of an album as that is to do that with, I don't know. I just really enjoyed that album. After Hours came out in 2020, like right after the pandemic started, and I like that album. I just haven't gone back and listened to every song too much. There's a couple songs that I really enjoy, like Save Your Tears and Too Late, and a couple of other ones I can't remember off the top of my head. But I do enjoy that album. And I didn't realize it's been so long already since then. Time has just gone by so fast. That was like March or April of 2020, I think. I don't exactly remember. But already, it's January of 2022, and we have a new album from The Weeknd. It's called Dawn FM. If you haven't heard it, I think it's a great album. I think I like it more than After Hours, just by a bit. I've gotten a few of the songs in my head constantly. I've been listening to this album on repeat. I really enjoy it. I got a couple notes here. I love the idea of, with it being a radio station kind of thing. I think that's pretty cool. Jim Carrey is on the album quite a bit. As like a little narrator, radio announcer guy, I guess. And, he's got these like little rhyme things he does. And like, that's fucking cool. I love Jim Carrey from what I've seen him in. I haven't seen every big 90s movie he was in, but I loved him in, I don't know, fucking Dumb and Dumber, Batman Forever, shit like that. And then he was just Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movie, which was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And now he's going to be in the sequel coming out in April, I think. I'm really excited for that movie, by the way. Very high hopes for that, considering how good the first one was. Anyway, Jim Carrey, great guy. Love the fact that, he's on a Weeknd album. Was not expecting that at all, but hey, I'll take it. I thought it was cool. Two of the songs I really like are Sacrifice and How Do I Make You Love Me. Those are really good. Tyler, the Creator, is also featured on the album. I feel like his part on the one song he's on, Here We Go Again, way too short. It's just way too short. It's a good song, though. I really enjoy it. But, yeah, I feel like, it's like, he had like this feature list and Tyler, the Creator, was on there. They haven't collabed, really, ever, I don't think. So it was like, oh, shit, The Weeknd and Tyler, the Creator, are making a song together? And it's like this really short little thing. And then that's it. It's like, oh, just kind of came and went. A little disappointing, but hey, really happy to see him on the album anyway. Lil Wayne was also on it. I like his feature. It's a little funny. It's a little silly, but it's still a good song though. I Heard You Married. I like it. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the album, really. I enjoyed it. I listened to it like the morning it came out. While I was at work, I listened to it. It was a lot of fun. The first time, a little commercial in the middle of the album that he does. The phone number thing. It's an actual phone number, but there's no references to The Weeknd or anything on it, though. It's a little disappointing, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, let's talk about Moon Knight, this new Moon Knight trailer. I know nothing about Moon Knight, so this is the first thing for me since, I don't know, Eternals or Captain Marvel or the Guardians of the Galaxy that I like, or Ant-Man that I like. I had no idea about anything in regards to the character. For me, I'm a Marvel fan in regards to, I think these characters are cool. I've never been a comic reader really. I respect it though, and I wish I just had. I do have the time. I could take the time to do it if I wanted. I just haven't, to really read the comics and get into it more. I feel like I'd end up enjoying the characters a lot more than I already do. Other than Spider-Man is really cool, but I'm also a big MCU fan. I had a whole discussion about all the shows in the last episode. I've become so interested in the MCU. I've seen every movie now. It wasn't until like Infinity War was coming out that I actually caught up on everything, because there were a lot of missing pieces as to what I had seen. But at this point, I've seen every movie. Ever since Endgame, I've seen every new MCU movie in theaters so far. Like I saw Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, and all the Disney Plus shows that have come out have been focused on already established characters. Like WandaVision was focused on Scarlet Witch and Vision. Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's in the title. Loki, it's in the title. Hawkeye, in the title. What If is based on alternate versions of already established characters. Moon Knight is completely new, in regards to the MCU at least. He hasn't been featured in any movies, any shows, nothing. So this is a fresh slate, at least for me. And I think a lot of other people too. I liked the trailer. I thought it was really interesting. I'm a little confused, not gonna lie. I know he has dissociative identity disorder and he has like these multiple personalities that clash with each other and he doesn't have control like over it. It just kind of happens, and he has ways of combating it and things like that. I'm really interested to see how the show goes. It starts on March 30th. I think Oscar Isaac is great as an actor. I've only seen him though in like Star Wars and Ex Machina, I think, and X-Men Apocalypse as well. But other than that, I haven't seen him in anything else. I know he's done other things, but just I haven't seen those. I really liked him in Ex Machina. He was great as Poe Dameron in Star Wars and Apocalypse. I wasn't really the biggest fan of that movie, but I think he did a good job with what he was given, at least. To see him play another Marvel character and this time actually be under Marvel Studios. And, I was actually surprised by it because I remember him saying he wouldn't want to work for Disney again after Star Wars, but I guess Marvel convinced him because look at him now. He's doing this and he looks like he's having a lot of fun. Like he's doing great in regards to acting. I think he's doing a great job with it. I hope it's good. I'm really excited for it. Also, the trailer music, the little remix of Day and Night by Kid Cudi, perfectly shows the situation as it is with having the split personalities. Very good song choice. Microsoft just bought Activision Blizzard for nearly $70 billion. That is insane. That is nearly as much money as Disney paid for Fox in 2019, 2018, like that time era. Yeah, that's a big deal. Now, as far as I remember, that Disney Fox buyout was in stocks. Supposedly, this Microsoft Activision deal was in cash. This was nearly $70 billion in cash, supposedly. Don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly the details in regards to how it was paid, but that's a lot of money. And especially with all of the controversy that's been happening with Activision and Blizzard, with the misconduct allegations from people that worked there, lots of lawsuits and stuff, just people being disgusting and shit like that. I was pretty surprised to wake up to that this morning. This is huge. And I mean, the main thing about this is that they're really trying to push Game Pass. And I don't have Game Pass. Like, I don't have an Xbox in my room. My brother's got the Xbox in the house. I've got a PS5 that I use for streaming services and stuff. And sometimes I play games on it. I see the understanding of why people would use Game Pass. And, I understand why this acquisition happened. I wasn't expecting it to happen as quick as it did, but hey, I mean, if it means saving these IPs from a really shitty company, then so be it. I hope this means they'll have a bright future. I hope they get their restructuring right and they get rid of all the people that shouldn't be there. So that way, things are tame and peaceful and, stuff like that. I hope it all turns out great. Xbox now owns things like Crash Bandicoot and Call of Duty and Overwatch, World of Warcraft, fucking Skylanders. I know that's not a thing anymore, but that was huge about 10 years ago. Yeah, we're in crazy times now where things like this are happening. And Microsoft now owns things like, this, and they bought out Minecraft. They've got Bethesda now. Like, they're really coming in with the big guns to be like a real competition to like all these other studios. And thankfully they have said that they're not going to make these games exclusive to Xbox, because that would just be crazy. Like, Crash and Spyro are PlayStation characters in a lot of people's eyes. And if you just strip that away from them and just say, oh, they're Xbox now, it's going to be like Microsoft buying Rare in the early 2000s over and over again. And I mean, thankfully that's not the case. And nowadays we've seen Banjo more and more on Nintendo systems. But the point is, I don't want to see that happen again. I mean, Nintendo fans won't really be affected by that, but Sony fans, old school Sony fans, are going to go through the same thing if that were the case. But I don't think that's going to be the case. And I think they have said already that that's not going to be the case. So thankfully things will get better for the people working there. Necessary restructuring, all that sort of stuff. And all the possibilities are even crazier now. If this had happened last year, maybe we could have gotten characters like Crash and Spyro in Smash thanks to Xbox and not these individual companies. Or fucking Tracer from Overwatch. I remember that being a rumor at some point, or just a character that people really wanted for some reason. Hell, I would have been fine with anyone, but it is what it is. Some of the final things I wanted to discuss on today's episode are the passings of some great people in the industry. Sidney Poitier is someone that I'm not too familiar with, or I wasn't too familiar with his work, but I know about the importance of him and what he represented for a lot of people. I mean, he was the first black man to win an Academy Award for Best Actor. So that alone, pretty monumental. He was a very friendly person. Everyone knew him and loved him. And he lived a really good, long life. He was 94. So rest in peace to that man. What a legend. Betty White, we lost her just weeks before her 100th birthday. If you actually Googled her name on her 100th birthday, they had a little thing of roses that came up on your screen and said, "Thank you for being a friend." Like that's just so wholesome. And the fact that she died on December 31st, like the last day of the year. In fact, as I was actually uploading last episode, the news broke that she passed. And I almost wanted to just take the thing down and restructure it and be like, we lost Betty White just now, but I felt it was probably more appropriate just to save it for, the next episode, just so I could take some time to accept it and all that. I wasn't too familiar with the Golden Girls or a lot of the stuff she did, but seeing her in interviews and just everyone's just obsession with the fact that she's lived such a really long life and that she has to be protected at all costs and everything, that people cared so much about her because she was just such a good person, such a nice, genuine human being, so sweet, so kind to everyone. And it just upsets me so much, the fact that, she was just weeks away from her 100th birthday, and she was in good health and everything for her age, and it's just crazy. But her legacy will live on. Everyone's going to remember her for all the great things she said and did. And we just got to think about the positives. And finally, Bob Saget. Like that one. I'm sitting at my desk and I opened Twitter literally not even a minute ago, trending Bob Saget dead at 65 in his Florida hotel room. As he was in the middle of a tour, he had just had a show hours before. And then he died on his bed in his hotel room. Yeah, that one hit me harder. Especially because I grew up with Bob Saget on Full House. Like that was like a good part of, that was a lot of what got me through middle school, just watching reruns of Full House on Nick at Night. He hosted America's Funniest Home Videos for a number of years. He was a great stand-up comedian. I didn't see a lot of his comedy, but I remember back when they came out, I watched the Hot Ones interview he had, and he was on the H3 podcast. I watched that back then. I actually have rewatched those again since his passing. And I just can't believe that, the whole cast of Full House came together to mourn him and everything like that. All of his good friends. He had such a wide array of friends in the industry, musicians, comedians, actors, all these people that knew him and loved him because he was just such a genuine human being. And it's just crazy that, it's 65. Like, that's way too soon. And he was, the pandemic is finally, at least like restrictions are finally settling down. Life is starting to get, back to normal as we can get, I guess. But it's like, wow, look at that. Like now we don't have someone like Bob Saget. I watched his I watched his Comedy Central roast the night the news broke. That shit was insane. Especially what Gilbert Gottfried was saying. I couldn't stop laughing. It was like, wow. Like the fact that, like, you see him on like Full House and he's like this great guy, and then you see him on Comedy Central roast and he's saying all this crazy shit. I've seen a lot of interviews and I watched some of his podcast over the last week or so, and like it's just so surreal. I'm very happy with everything he was able to do in his life. He brought me Danny Tanner on Full House, one piece of that amazing show, and America's Dad, all that stuff. I just can't believe that he's gone. But, we got to move on, and we got to honor all these great people and what they've done. And that's what we remember them for. And I think that's going to end it for this episode of the podcast. This one was a little shorter than the last two, but I'm probably going to have more and more shorter episodes like this. They're going to be around an hour, like in like a half hour. Kind of, I'll go from like hour episodes or half hour episodes, maybe sometimes even shorter. I will be having lots more guest episodes really soon. I have a couple people lined up that are very interested and really want to be on. I have a couple people lined up already, so stay tuned for those. I'm not going to say who yet, but especially if you went to high school with me, a lot of people from that part of my life are coming on. Some people I haven't spoken to as much in the last 2 years. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of great stuff lined up. And come February, things are definitely going into full force. So, we're starting out a little slow. I dropped 2 big episodes in the beginning. The rest of this month's going to be a little more, calm. And then once February hits, we're going up and up. So thank you guys so much for all the support. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. If you're listening on the audio platforms, it would be great if you gave me a rating. I'd really appreciate that. I'm also on a bunch of social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Letterboxd. All that stuff will be linked in the description. With that said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace out.